Hi folks, Doug here. Ellis Car Customs. Did you hear the crazy story about the guy who's building a Nomad out of junk parts? Wait, that's me, isn't it? Well, anyways, welcome back to the show. If you're a returning Nomad warrior, welcome aboard. If you're new and you're wondering about the guy with the cats, uh, in today's episode, we're taking more bites at the elephant, trying to get a little closer. Um, I'm going to see if I can repurpose some parts, make them work for this project, um, try to keep my cats fed, and try to keep things interesting for y'all. I, I have a lot of people that say, your episodes should be longer, you should have longer shows or whatever, but it's like you get too long, they get boring, you know. Probably if I make my intro too long, y'all skip through it because it gets boring, and I get it. But I just try to give you an overview of what I'm up to, and I appreciate the likes and the comments and the subscriptions, and I'm slowly catching up on the comments, and I haven't forgot y'all, don't worry. So I'm going to get some work done if the cat lets me and see what happens. So what I was hoping I could do, I was hoping that the stainless pieces would just be too long at the bottom, but really the bottom is right. It's the top that's too long. So it's one of them things, if I were to trim off the bottom to make it shorter, it would be too wide. See if I can show it. It would be too wide here. It wouldn't fit because it has to fit up against it like that. So really what I have to do is kind of line this up about where I want it and trim the top. And That way it'll fit in there the way it's supposed to, because it stays the same width here, but this piece gets wider as it goes up. So yeah, the only way I can use these is if I trim the tops, line it up in there as best I can and trim the top. You know, it's one of them things, nothing ventured, nothing gained. I mean, they're just old parts on an old parts car. So if I bugger it up, you know, I didn't spend any money on it. But I'll just start by slowly taking a little at a time off and sneak up on it and see how that works. Also, on another note, this piece here that I've been repurposing, well, Went online this morning and found out the only ones I could find were $299 for used reconditioned ones. So if you can save 299 bucks, that's a good day. There, so our recycled pieces are all screwed in. Bring you around to the other side here. And they'll serve us well. They're definitely going to serve us $300 well. I was online trying to find parts, and you know, for those vertical fin moldings on both sides, $400. Trying to find used ones, not having much success. I could find the right one, but not the left one with the fuel door. The taillight housings, I have one usable right side one, but all I have are two of them, and they're both right side ones. I'm hoping I could find used at least left side ones. I mean, brand new ones, $400. Bumper ends and the bumper center, $600. So yeah, what am I looking at? $1,400 to finish off the back here. Oh man, why things gotta be so expensive? But that's why we recycle stuff when we can, because things are so expensive. We're trying to keep the cost reasonable on this, just to show that anybody can do it if you just learn to reuse stuff and not get too picky if it's not perfect, as long as it's usable. But that's where we're at now. So it's going back a ways, but some of my longtime viewers will recall how we made these homemade gas straps, and that this fuel tank is actually for an F-150 Ford circa 1970s. But the fill spigot's on the correct side, and we've checked everything out and it should work. It's a bigger tank than the stock one. I used some old canvas strapping to put between the straps and the tank, and it's just one more thing off the list. Gosh, it's cramped under here. So she's wheels on the ground for the first time in 8 months. It hasn't had wheels on it in forever. But that's, the front end's obviously still on jack stands, but it sort of gives you an idea of ride height. You know, it's going to be kind of a low lead sled unless I put shackle extenders in it, but that's the first step to rolling it back. Obviously I need to make space for it to roll back into, but yeah, those are quite vintage wheels and tires. I wouldn't trust them to go 5 miles down the road, but they'll do what we need them to do. Well, that went way better than I could have hoped. I was expecting a little more resistance rolling on the jack, but boy, it worked like a charm. So look at all this room we have once we clean up all the garbage that's in the way. But yeah, I've got the room now that I can bring the engine over, transmission, all that good stuff. Plenty of room to work around the front end. I know y'all been clamoring for front end content and engine content and stuff like that. So with this thing rolled back to where it is now, I should be able to work up here now, and I can still get work done on the interior, you know, because that really didn't change by moving the car. The only stuff I got left at the back is kind of the bumper, tail lights, wiring, that kind of stuff, so I don't really need a lot of room at the back. I've got a decent amount of room, you know. I mean, I can still walk around here, still get at things, so yeah, that ought to work just fine. So yeah, now it's like a gymnasium in here. I got room to move. And there's what we do with our tools when they're splayed all over the place. We throw them in a big pile and then sort them out. So folks, that's what I've got for you today in today's action-filled, jam-packed episode. We got our car rolled back. We got all this space in front of us to start doing front-end content. I'm hoping that I can have my brother come down tomorrow morning, and he's got a bucket loader tractor, and I'm hoping I can move the engine from that side of the garage to this side because it won't fit through that little pass-through door. But bring that over. I got the transmission to bring over. I got the flywheel, clutch, pressure plate, bell housing, transmission. The only things I'm lacking is the pilot bearing, the throwout bearing, and and a shifter as far as the transmission goes. But yeah, I know lately the last couple episodes have sort of fell off a cliff. Even my best of friends are like, you're not very interesting lately. But I know we get bogged down in the minutia sometimes, and it doesn't make for gripping television. But I appreciate everybody who does show up, and hopefully we can get back onto some more exciting content that will stimulate y'all. But I appreciate the likes and the comments that help people find me, and the subscriptions, and the gifts, and the suggestions, tips, all that kind of stuff. I'm slowly catching up to the comments. I start to catch up, but then I put up another video and I fall behind again. But what are you gonna do? I want to be the guy who answers everybody. I know a lot of people say, you know, how can you keep up? You know, you don't have to answer all the questions. The other guys don't. That kind of stuff. But I don't want people to think that I got so big in my britches that I'm not going to answer my comments anymore, or pay attention to people who talk to me. You know, it's almost like I'm ignoring you in person if I don't answer you. Does that make sense? So yeah, we're taking bites at the elephant here, and we're going to keep taking bites, and hopefully you all will keep taking bites with me. Take care. See you on the next one.